there. Get ready.
Yeah, chill the hell out, man. Let's make sure music's back on. It is Cool Beans, guys. Welcome back. Once again, this is Game 5 in this Best of 9 series between oGaming community and, oGaming and Clarity Gaming's community. Whoa, I just got caught by the OGCO. GGCGGG. Guys, this is Rifkin. I'm casting with Ord. I hope you've enjoyed the clan war so far. It's been pretty fun. Spawning here, though, in the lower left corner of the map. Playing for oGaming. It is Grippe.
And his opponent from Clarity Gaming, it is the Purple Terran, ElhayM. I think. ElhayM.
ElhayM.
So
Muscle
to continue with the Pokemon theme, our purple player from Clarity Gaming is most like Alakazam, apparently. He is their ace, the current frontrunner for Academy promotion. He's been GM for several seasons now.
Hang on, Ord. Are you telling me, was ElhayM traded from another team? Because if he wasn't, then he's just a Kadabra.
Oh, God. Oh. Well, then I'm going to have to say yes, because Chris so far has known his stuff. So that's probably exactly what he meant. So well played, sir. ElhayM has great multitasking and prefers to do Marauder pushes. So we've got that coming up. Meanwhile, Grippe.
Well, hang on, Ord. This is really frustrating. We have our Terran player trying to go for that CC first. He probably wanted to throw it down on the high ground, but the drone lurking about. There's always the danger of that cat's block, and there it is. Oh man, that's so irritating. He's gonna try and keep the drone alive, so he'll cancel this, and I imagine he'll put the hatchery at the natural. And this is so frustrating to deal with. Oh, actually just gonna go home with it. Never mind. So continue your introductions of Mr. Grippe. I thought we were gonna have more shenanigans.
Yeah, I thought so too, especially when he went over there and did the assimilator and stuff. He was healing up to continue the harass. But no, instead, Team oGaming has Grippe or Grippe. He's best known for his PVZ, and he prefers Swarm Host play. So it's interesting that he ended up against a Terran right now, especially against the Terran Ace. I wonder if this was Grippe volunteering or being voluntold.
Lambs to the slaughter.
So we shall see. Thus far, though, I mean, Grippe gave himself that little tiny advantage at the beginning, and that can really start to put yourself in the right mindset. Like today for Zotac, we had Elfie against MMA, and no spoilers because it was early on in the tournament. Elfie ended up beating MMA in a profound way.
Hang on, you can't do no spoilers and then say who won. That doesn't work.
Yeah, because it was early in the tournament. It wasn't the overall end. You guys should watch it.
No, but it's like saying, no spoilers, but okay, he's dancing the Overlord here. No spoilers, but you know, Darth Vader's Luke's dad. I mean, what the hell? But okay, the Overlord. You know what? We had someone say here at the start of the game, Grippe feeling very confident, dancing the Overlord again. Lobster feet. I don't know, Grippe, you know what, right now, Zerg versus Terran on this map, we didn't even cover this. Guys, this is such a nice Zerg map. Look at all these open openings. I mean, the only time you're really going to find a bad engagement is if your Terran player's got like this massive siege line, but even then, to some extent, you can just swarm on in.
Grippe actually does find the SCV there that ElhayM had, and, oh, will it get all the way up? Not quite. Not that it would have seen anything too interesting just yet. No gases have been taken, no layers been started, anything crazy like that. Gas is on the low ground.
But
though.
you know what? Hang on. I know that I am also one to dismiss information like that, but sometimes, for Terran players especially, it's what you don't see that can really tell you what your opponent's going to do. Same with the Zerg player. Like, if you don't see the factory early on, you know they're saving it for gas or going for something else. So by getting in there right now, if we assess what ElhayM said, or saw, I mean, at the natural, actually, sorry, you know what, I'm going to take all this back. I thought he had seen the gases at the natural when I started the speech, but he didn't even scout the ungassed gas, so forget it, forget it.
I like where you were going with it, though.
Well, okay, anyways, getting back to real time here, we do have Hellbass looking to be the choice here out of ElhayM, and this seems to be a very prominent pattern with today's Terran. Now the big question is, does he follow up with Mech, or does he go with Bio after this? Because, I mean, Mech versus Zerg, you take a look at a goodie game on this map, we might be in store for like an hour-long game, Ward.
Yes, definitely. And this is one of those maps where honestly, it can be very, very easily split. As long as you have a little bit of air defense at the bottom and at the top, there's really not a whole lot of area that you have to defend across the ground.
No, definitely not. And I want to point out here, Grippe's got this really sick Overlord spread. There's no medevacs that are going to leave the base here without getting scouted. Now coming across the field with 4 Hellions is ElhayM. And again, guys, if we're saying this name wrong, I'm so sorry, but at this point, it's just like a Jewish word to me, ElhayM. But he goes up here to the 30. He's going to see it's on the way. He can't really do too much with Hellions. Of course, their damage not the greatest without mixed in with Reavers. But if he can draw the attention of his opponent, if Grippe's focused on drops or vice versa on these Hellions, one will get in and the other will just be the distraction.
Oh, this third base is a little bit exposed. Just waiting for those drones to come on up are these Hellions. But that Overlord did see them come up, so Grippe's gotta know that they're there. Meanwhile, Overlord, a dancing Overlord, may no longer be with us.
Nope.
Poor little fella.
Marine going to town, just shooting upward, holding the fire button. But okay, there we go. The Hellion's going to move into the front as the Hellbats come into the main. Oh man, the Spine and the Spore are not quite done yet.
Nowhere to go there at the front, but the Hellbats are able to get a little bit of damage.
They're going to get the Queen if he's not careful. Oh, the medevac needs to move though. ElhayM should not be taking this damage from the Spore Crawler.
Oh, and then 3 Queens turn around.
Oh, but here come the drones! Oh, Grippe! Oh my god, a little preemptively. That could have been dangerous.
So overall there, we ended up with 6 workers being killed.
You know, even with the 4 Hellions lost, that would have been worth it if he had maintained the medevac. I mean, he really should have just picked up and left, maintaining everything to come back in for round 2, but that is a common mistake with Terran players, where they'll just get very complacent with the medevacs because, hey, I could just make another couple right now real quick, but he can't. He's throwing down the reactor. He should be going for round 2 of drops right now with these medevacs that are currently on the field. I mean, yeah, there's a Spine here, but still, those Hellions, they're minerals, they're throwaway units. They're kind of like designed around Zerglings, where if you lose them, it's not the biggest deal.
This is true. Stim about to finish up Engineering Bay. 2 of them on the way. So ElhayM, he's going to continue with this bio force across the center. We'll call half Marauders, half Hellbats. And I don't actually... Grippe needs to produce another round of units. There we go. 5 more Roaches are on the way.
There are a lot of Spine Crawlers out, but their spread is the problem. And Spine Crawlers, when spread out, go down very quickly to Marauders that are stimmed.
Oh, and just one Spine Crawler there, able to attack. Second one now. He's kind of using them like siege tanks, and it's not necessarily working the way that I'm used to, but some transfuses actually do go down on the Roaches, turn out fantastically.
You can just pick up, though, go to the main.
But there he goes.
He's just going to back up instead. Still not a bad choice. But of course, this is the advantage of Terran players on maps like this. Star Station presents the same problem, where this ledge at the edge of the main connecting to the third base, you can pick up and drop between the two very frequently, very easily.
Marauders starting to clean up the creep that had started to make some pretty good progress. 12 minutes in, you normally want to see it a little bit farther, but not bad. About halfway across the map, and right now ElhayM is actually long-distance mining from his third.
It's a little more efficient when you've got oversaturation by this much, but he's got 61 SCVs between 2 bases. No thank you, sir. But he's gonna get that expansion over. There we go, now the orbital is floating, but I want to comment toward, I want to thank ElhayM for going for bio, because I did not want to sit in for a mech game versus Swarmhost on Newkirk City. Or sorry, Precinct, Moom.
Newkirk, yeah. Basically even supplies right now, and we've got these medevacs moved across the bottom of the map at the same time that there's a medevac moving to the north. However, Grippe is in position for both. Unloaded towards the south. Roaches immediately surrounding. A couple of drones do go down, but the pickup has to occur. Meanwhile, to the north, Marauders just have to drop, and they go for the Queen, who does go down.
Just barely, like the last shot, that last breath of that Marauder. And I'm being told, guys, if we're saying it wrong, it is ElhayM. So there we go. Our purple Terran player is not Jewish, but in fact Mexican.
Oh, ElhayM?
ElhayM. I don't know. That's what chat says there. So I'm gonna go off that for the rest of the game. But this one medevac very low here. I'd really like for him to pull it back and repair it, but of course, again, the complacency issue with Terran players in the early to mid game. I've got money to spare. I don't need to worry about gas just yet. I will throw away these medevacs gladly. But oh no, Ord, I want to point something out here. Before our action starts, we've actually had him dropping supply. So this means ElhayM's not been paying attention to his macros so much, and he's been getting supply blocked. You only drop supply depots out of desperation.
Yeah, and that's a little bit rough. Creep Shred was starting to make it up onto this little fourth base kind of platform area, which would be very nice for Grippe, because eventually these overlords are not going to be safe anymore. I mean, eventually there has to be Vikings to come out, I'm assuming. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen that. We've also seen, like, utter lack of medevacs coming out. Does actually have some tanks, though, which is so nice to see. 3 tanks, 4 tanks. You only need a few, honestly.
I do want to contribute an end here to point out the fact that we have Swarm Host giving the tech path here. It's going to be Roach Hydra Swarm Host. A very deadly composition for Bio to have to deal with. You need a lot of tanks to really trade with those Swarm Hosts and then transition into the Ravens as a follow-up. And right now we got a ton of Spore Crawlers coming down throughout the map. They do not... Right now, Grippe does not want to get dropped at all.
No, he doesn't. He wants time to build up this Swarm Host army that he's planning on. Oh, man, the Creep Tumor animation is cut off halfway. That's fantastic. The Queen gets caught out completely in the open, incinerated simply. But ElhayM has to retreat at this point because he's a little overwhelmed.
The Hydralisks here are a little too much. The bio from a Terran army. There is no straight counter to Hydralisks, guys. I mean, you could consider Hellions to some extent, but the reality is, to beat Hydralisks, you need the numbers. And right now, ElhayM does not have the numbers. In fact, one of these medevacs still hasn't dropped out. There we go. Should be able to snipe off this base, though. He should be able to get this and get out. Or maybe not, just going to boost away instead. Not a bad choice. I'd really like for him to knock down this cooling tower, though, so they could more safely retreat to where he's been retreating to. But man, the ring of Spore Crawlers is not something you see too often. No,
it looks like a Terran base, honestly, just with missile turrets all over the place preventing the drops. But now ElhayM has that 200 supply, just
big push.
As we have 6 Swarm Hosts coming out. So this base is probably forfeit, but I think Grippe might be able to hold as long as he burrows these Swarm Hosts in a hurry.
Yeah, Siege Tank's already starting to lay some fire down. Grippe's got to back up until he's ready to engage in this. He needs to just use the Swarm Host to whittle out the Bio Army. And there we go, Marines melting on the front lines. You cannot really heal these. You need point defense drones. You need something. Meanwhile, in the northern part of the map, the debris is being picked away at here. It was a problem here for the drop. Main is cleaned up as well.
Yeah, we did some marauders in the main there. It got cleaned up at the same time.
Oh, this is problematic. There's not enough tanks here to deal with the Locust Swarms. He's going to lose his first tank.
That's an expensive thing to lose. +3 is on the way now for ElhayM. Actually,
Grippe's got to be careful.
Wanted that earlier. Oh, overstimming! Everything's
really
red.
badly overstimming. We got Roaches coming from behind with these Hydralisks. Going to catch that retreat path, holding most of the army in place. The Locusts are chasing, but of course, they cannot quite catch up to that Stim Bio. That could have been much worse for ElhayM.
And actually, he's losing a lot here off Creep, which is a little silly. But in the natural, or the third base rather, sure, it's a natural as well.
Well, the Marines, I mean, the Spike Host took care of them. The main base trying to be dropped. Spore Crawlers will kill that medevac. Actually, will not kill that medevac. 10 health remain, but the Queen will finish it off.
Oh, I think Hydralisk claimed it.
Oh, man. A couple more hits would have gotten that Queen. Would have been really nice to cut out the larva production. But of course, we take a look at the units of the field. Grippe has so much larva to spare, now producing 82 Zerglings, Zord. He's researching Baneling speed, so I think you can guess what those 82 Zerglings are going to turn into.
Yeah, probably. Pathogen, or rather centrifugal hooks, yeah. Oh, man. Planetary Fortress actually also on the way here for ElhayM. I kind of wish he was doing that in a forward position at this point, because it would be very effective to have a couple of SCVs repairing a planetary at a choke point here against these Swarm Hosts, because this is clearly...
I really like the way he's microing Swarm Host, though. He's burrowing, unburrowing, repositioning. This is how Swarm Host should be utilized against the Bio Army, and he's doing it greatly. Banelings do finish morphing in, but of course he doesn't want to send this many slow Bangs.
And Hydras coming in from behind, and so many Banelings! All the humanity!
But they don't actually do too much. They all get picked off by the tanks. They crash into Marauders. Those were quite frankly wasted Banelings, Ord.
They really were, but it was still fun.
Oh, it was beautiful to look at. I mean, our Terran players are still very far behind in supply. The Swarm Hosts have been paying their dividends at this point. But I mean, look at the speed timing. If Grippe had just waited like 15 seconds, that goes from barely killing any of the bio to obliterating everything on the field.
Yeah, but then we have a +3/+3 that's still only about 15 games out right now. Swarm Host in really nice position right now.
These siege tanks are not siege. She's going to lose the first one. Guys, if you don't know, Swarm Host Locust, they do about as much damage and about as fast as the Hydralisk. 14 with 0.8 compared to 14 with 0.83.
Oh, this Marauder Marine Force does catch a lot of those Swarm Hosts as they unsiege, essentially, or unburrow. Hydralisk and Roaches coming in from the top. We've seen that time and time again from Grippe, and it's been really effective, but he needs to replenish that force. He's only got a few of them left. He's also got some Banelings in there. He could swing around here.
You know, those Banelings earlier, that was the definition of cocky, and I really hope it didn't cost him the game. He's not a dire straits, he's not in a real problematic position, but that was such a lead that he gave away in the form of all those Banelings.
Yeah, he barely microed him. He just sent them all in. Very satisfying, probably, for him. The Marauders of North are finally going to be cleaned up, too. They've just been hanging out, killing hundreds of Zerglings.
Marauders don't die very quickly, though. Look at this. They're taking forever to go down. Meanwhile, the Bio Army advances.
Here, Banelings actually don't even manage to land a
But that's okay,
hit.
because the Locusts are coming from behind. Round 2 of the Locusts about to pop out here and cut off the retreat path. I mean, these Medivacs can always pick up if they need to, but...
Great stutter step from ElhayM, actually. You've seen that multiple times out of him earlier when I thought he'd overstimmed and was about to lose everything. He used that stim up to his very last second, kept himself alive. He does it again there. And again, he's stimming all the way down to red, but he seems pretty confident with it. He's got a hatch.
Yeah, right now, Grippe's investing a lot in Hydralisks. Banelings, I really wish he'd start reinvesting more in these Hydralisks because the Bio Army does not stand up too well against a lot of Hydralisks. Swarm Host still doing their job, though, laying siege to his opponent, doesn't want to give him any breathing room whatsoever. And in the north, these Banelings.
Hydra. So many.
Nice spread, though. A beautiful spread, really limits the damage of these Banelings. Very few of them do go off, but the Hydras are just a little bit too numerous. Or
siege tanks are unsieging.
He's got to run back.
The +3 vehicle weapons now also on the way. We have the +3/+3 for basically everything on the Terran side. Meanwhile, we only have +2/+2. There's a drop of Marines into that third base, and Grippe really needs minerals, or rather larva. Sorry, he's been struggling to produce. He's only got 1 larva and 1,000 minerals there.
I want to comment, by the way, Swarm Hosts, they loud as fuck when they die. I've never heard one die unburrowed. Well, I probably haven't, just forgotten about it, but Jesus, listening to those things screech as they got killed by the bio was ridiculous. But Grippe's, he's in a really terrible position right now. He's so far behind his supply, and that's not just because of workers, that is army supply. And I really don't see a way for him to engage on this.
Yeah, and once he loses this base.
Now with Banelings are coming in, or they're being fired down by the tanks.
Spread, though, with the tanks in the background and retreating to the high ground there. Actually, kind of a brilliant moment for ElhayM, who's able to bring in his Bioforce from the far side as well. And now he can push forward. Might be able to target fire this hatchery. No, retreats again. A little dance back and forth, back and forth.
He should be able to pick this off. Oh my god, but he doesn't. The Locust Swarm coming in just at the right time.
But ElhayM's got this 4th base all the way at the north. Or rather, like 5th base. He's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I can count 5 bases overall, essentially all saturated. He's got a decent infrastructure. 10 infestors are coming out. Infestors is a great way to come back from a supply deficit, which is what he's at, but it's going to be rough.
You know, those Hydralisks got obliterated by that tank there. I don't know if you guys saw the spine go flying off in the middle of God knows where.
Oh god, tanks now being dropped in the northern laggy part of our map.
You know what, I like that he's finally adding some infestors in. With how low this bio has been this entire game, it's been in the red. He's not had enough medevacs, and the medevacs that are on the field don't have enough energy to finish this off. 2 fungals more accurately would kill this entire army, and Cav his base, get the hell out of the game, man. But man, this is looking really good for our Terran player, just as it stands.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I mean, Grippe is doing a pretty good job, honestly, of like establishing a base every time you lose one. Great.
There's that fungal
on the ramp. Oh,
and all the Marines go down, man. This is what I'm talking about. Another good fungal should finish this off. The Zerglings don't even need to connect. They can go straight for the tanks. They will go straight for the tanks. Why is he backing away from the tanks?
I don't know. I guess he wants the free units to go in and take care of the shots. He does actually manage to do that pretty nicely. Cleans up everything there. All of a sudden, it's even supply, but there are a few Marines and a tank at the very northern part.
Well, a very key point to make here is the fact that there's no Hive tech. Well, sorry, Hive just finished up maybe recently, but the upgrades are still lacking for our Zerg player. He's not on 3-3 for anything, not ranged, not melee, not nothing, and he needs to make that transition.
Really does. 28 minutes into the game. You think more than likely he's forgot about it at this point, just assuming, like, I'd never make it in this point of the game without it. Probably what he's thinking to himself. And the Infestors, again, with another nice fungal.
Sick. Fungal's gonna hold the Marines in place for the Locust to finish off here. But right now, ElhayM's got to worry about, like, he's got to really worry about the transition. He's not scanning the main, he's not seeing tech, he doesn't know whether Ultralisks are on the verge of coming out or not. But I want to point out, we've got 4 exhausted Vespene Geysers here for Grippe. He needs to take these gases. I mean, he's taking them, but he needs to saturate the gases at his new base.
And we have ElhayM moving through the middle of the map while he's got a little contingency down to the south that's just dying slowly but surely to the Locust. This seems to be a theme for the last 10 minutes. He is just too little.
Oh no, the Hydralisks in the north are going to get picked off here. He's already got about 7 of them. God, those
more
corpses.
tanks are going down the Locust though, and that's not what ElhayM wants. Finally, actually, Burrow is being researched, which will be interesting. At the very least, Infestors definitely do need it. Not the best fungals that time, but there are a number of Banelings rolling in here. At this point, they need to go off on something, anything. Actually,
tanks are being taken out. The Locust Swarm coming from below just high as they reach the army, but it's enough to drive ElhayM back. Oh, these are a lot of full energy Infestors.
Yeah, they are.
Once he's got Burrow on the field, I think we're going to see some Burrow tactics go into the mineral lines and drop a ton of infested Terrans down.
Definitely. I wish he had his mind.
Again, though, one big thing to stress here, guys, it's not us trying to beat a dead horse. He really needs to get those +3 weapons, and if not the weapons, at least +3 armor, because a Zerg player needs, like a Terran player with Bio 3-3 Marines, they're going to run rampant over anything that doesn't have +3 armor.
This is definitely an awkward moment right here where ElhayM was trying to siege up one of Grippe's bases. Grippe does manage to go to
He's going to lose the siege tanks on the way out. The Locust coming in here.
Oh, great control there on those Locusts who were not path there to begin with. It didn't look like. Some fungals there actually on the Marines to the north allow the Hydralisks to clean up those units. And yeah, these Locusts are not letting these tanks out. This is a very bad job.
It's very static and passive as this is going. This has been very action-packed. Constantly hitting in the north, constantly attacking in the south.
Actually, we had a number of the Infestors go down. There only one left over there at the end. Kind of missed that, actually, but the Marines... Oh! The one Infestor does manage to retain some dignity for his brethren. But they do survive because of the medevacs. Locust still going to the south. They need to be going to the north right now. This hatchery is being threatened. Never mind. Fungals.
Fungals and Locusts, man, a deadly combination. Now, actually, even with the Enduring Locusts, they don't quite have the lifespan to reach these tanks here in the south. They're positioned just far enough back.
Preventing any mining from the gas or from that near mineral patch. Meanwhile, ElhayM trying to move across the top, this time staying in putt-putt mode. Another fungal that is pretty darn decent. Allows the Hydralisks to do quite a bit of damage. They gotta
these
get
tanks are gonna go down.
Tanks.
The Locusts just spawned out. The Hydralisks need to move back.
Can't get past the Hydras. That was actually a mistake there, but it doesn't matter because there's so many.
Yeah, the Locust weakest, like the biggest flaw in the Locusts, they have very short range. You basically spawn 2 very short range Hydras. Hydras that need glasses, basically, every time these waves pop.
But I am excited for Grippe because now he's got that +3/+3, and earlier it seemed like how in the world can Grippe win, but at this point he's doing a fantastic job. He's keeping it even. He's down by 50 supply, but he's got so many free units all the time that it doesn't seem to matter.
You know, it almost seems unfair that the Locusts get the upgrades. They did strip the Terran and the Infested Terrans of their upgrades because free units were a little bit too strong, but they are more along the lines of the Brood Lords and the Broodlings than Infested Terrans.
And I'm going to agree with that. Actually, some Locusts are managing to cut off
this base
reinforcements for just a moment, but that base completely decimated to the south. Actually, Grippe was distracted to the north, trying to clean up those guys who've been preventing that base for a long time. I think the last, like, 10 minutes.
Horde! Marines are sitting right up here into the natural.
Whoa.
Grippe's not even supply max. He could make some units, but he's not. He's busy focused elsewhere, pushing towards the north, and oh, he cannot lose this tech, this precious tech.
Now there's actually 3,000 in the bank for ElhayM, who hopefully will be throwing down a little bit more infrastructure so that he can just go ahead and flood Marine. Honestly, any unit right now, and I'm thinking that he probably can just push to win this, as the swarm hosts to the north are starting to push on this base. How many do we have left over there? We have 17 of them. Meanwhile,
you know,
Terran forces...
At this point of the game, I can't help but think, like, why was there no Ultralist transition? Why was 3-3 delayed so long? And why were 90-something Banelings sacrificed early on? And I think all of these things compounded are why Grippe is in as much trouble as he is right now. Because he had such a domineering lead on this game.
Yeah, he's at 131 now, and he's supply blocked. Last fungal from an Infested Terran, actually, or from Infestor, does allow that force to get cleaned up. But to the north, we have a couple of Stim Marines who might be able to prevent this hatchery from going up. Maybe not, as Zerglings do arrive to defend it. No. It's just silly at that point.
You know, at this point as well, if, like, and this is a big if we had our Terran player stuck on a different base, if he wasn't mining right now, this would be problematic, and Grippe would still be in this. But our Terran player still, despite losing this middle base over and over and over again, he's got the north, he's got the south, his third base still has mineral patches on it. He's okay the way he is. Oh, I gotta say, Fungals... Yeah, Fungals and Locusts are a really interesting combination.
It's been working fantastic for him so far. Every time I say, like, oh, well, now he's dead. No, he's not. He's fine.
Well, actually,
right now, I
the
feel
Infestors are out of energy at this point, or he's going to lose these Swarm Hosts.
Oh, Locusts, there's so many of them there, and how long before the next round comes out? Oh, Infestors moving around to the north, but again, like you said, they don't have any energy. I wish earlier, honestly, 2 or 3 of these had gone up to that northern base and laid down some Fungals. Oh, great Fungal on all of those siege tanks and everything.
The Hydra's coming from below, being sacrificed. Corpses flying off into the nothingness.
I don't know that they need to even go in there at all. This base now surrounded by Infested Terran is gonna go down, but really does it matter that much?
No, that base is not an important base. It's not critical whatsoever. But ElhayM desperately trying to kill these Swarm Hosts. Man, you know what? I talk about a big game about Grippe not having the right units on the field, but we have no Ravens on the field of ElhayM. At this point, he should have had Ravens. Point defense drones are great against everything. Seeker missiles, of course, excellent at annihilating burrowed swarm hosts. I'm a little shocked both players have stayed on the tech path that they've chosen.
I'm surprised, too, that even staying on the same tech path, at one point, ElhayM was on 6 bases, and he's only got 9 racks in the game, and 1 starport?
Oh no, or the big problem here for Grippe, look at this, his income has dwindled because he's got no mining bases and almost no drones on the field. Yeah. He's basically 1 base mining, and he's got no plans for expansion. He is going to starve himself out of this game.
And finally, I think there may be enough left over here for ElhayM after cleaning up the Locust to kill off the remaining... Oh, another Fungal!
But, I mean, a Fungal versus tanks, it's kind of whatever. The Locusts actually are going to kill these Swarm Hosts through splash damage. That Siege Tank can't see it, but it picks off 2 Swarm Hosts. And Jesus, that's a lot of blood on the ground. Now, Infested Terran's picking up a couple tanks here in the north, gonna sneak on up here, but this base is mined out at this point. Who the hell cares?
You would be doing him a favor to kill some of these SCVs up here. There's so many of them, 29 on these little tiny mineral patches.
Oh man, Ord, look at the resources lost at this point. We've got over 100,000 resources between these 2 players.
Oh, so many units have been killed in this game. We have 10 Marines, 2 medevacs, and a siege tank being the reinforcements here as
and that's the last
pushes
base.
Forward.
That's it. Good game.
Kills to the last mining base. Diddle, diddle. Victory for ElhayM from Clarity Games.